Takes a second to load. Okay, guys, good morning. Good morning. I am here with Shaneé Moret. Thanks so
Hey
much for
everyone.
joining us. Shaneé is LinkedIn guru, my mentor, founder of Growth Academy.
I appreciate that.
Wonderful. I mean, you really are. I never would have started networking on LinkedIn if it wasn't for you. I legitimately.
You've grown so fast. It's well, I'm not surprised because I could kind of the people that just implement like the system, they'll get the results, but I like from the first week, I could kind of tell like who catches it fast. And then the fact that you're in recruiting, like you could get to 100,000 followers like very quickly. I would say probably by March.
That's amazing. That's the goal. I mean, I want to be able to help as many people as possible.
Right.
I'm working on getting my website up with lots of
Mhm.
resources just because I've been so bogged down with LinkedIn messages. I feel horrible because it's like I want to help everyone, but I can't help everyone.
Right.
So like, I'm trying to get my website up so that I have a place to send you guys where you can like check out this information since I can't reply to all of you. So that is coming soon. But that's actually what we're going to talk about today, guys. We're going to talk about all about network growth, LinkedIn growth, Growth Academy. But at first, I just wanted to dig into a little bit more about Shaneé. For those of you who may not know her, she's an amazing cancer survivor, mom, entrepreneur. So if you just want to tell the audience a little bit about your background, Shaneé, where you come from, your cancer story, that would be great.
Yeah, so my name is Shaneé Moret, and I've been showing up on LinkedIn every day for about almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years around January. And prior to getting on the platform, kind of like Jennifer, I never took networking seriously. I really thought that networking was kind of like an event that you would go to for like a
Right.
few hours, and I never really understood the value of it. And I think that's because I think that happens to a lot of us because we don't have a good networking example to look up to, right?
Right.
So, and we're never taught that like in traditional university. At least I wasn't taught that at all.
Not at all.
Um, yeah. So, and even now, it's not even just like when I went to school, but even now, I speak to 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds that are just about to graduate college, and it's the same thing. Like when I speak to them about networking, like you're gonna speak at Hofstra, right? Like
Yeah.
they were just so impressed with that small talk on networking because like they had never even really had to talk about it. Like they never understood the value of it. They just thought I was coming in to like tell them how to put their resume on LinkedIn, and so that's kind of like how I built that relationship with them because it like shocked them. And so yeah, so I like started taking networking seriously, I would say about 2 years ago, and I just can't put into words like how transforming and life-changing it's been for me. But prior to that, I have survived cancer, so I began with copywriting in the healthcare space for that reason because I have like, this innate understanding from firsthand experience of like the healthcare space, just being in and out of the hospital for like 10 years. And I always kind of respected, a lot of people see hospitals as like a bad place or like a place that they're kind of scared of. For me, it was like a place that healed me. So I kind of like have the opposite kind of perspective.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I just from that point, I just learned very early on like that like struggle has a lot to do with life, and adversity has a lot to do with life, and all you can do is really just do your best every single day, and that's actually what got me into writing is because like when my kidneys had pain, I would actually like lay down and I would read and write because that's like most of what I could do. I couldn't like go outside and play like a lot, like my sister could like go outside and play all day. I couldn't, number one, because my immune system was compromised, and number two, because sometimes my body didn't feel good.
Right.
So it's
How
kind
old
of
are
funny
you?
how sometimes in your adversity you can find your purpose and like your passion. So
Yeah, for sure. How old were you when you were going through that?
it was like young. So they first, saw like weird stuff because my kidneys were inflamed. I was like, I think it was like my 6th birthday. And then it was like for 10 years on and off.
Wow.
Hmm.
That is an incredible survival story. So tell me a little bit more, I guess, about your journey to MedSnake and kind of how
Mhm.
your daughter played into that with her medical issues.
Yeah, so right before actually getting on LinkedIn, which was the reason I got on LinkedIn, I was working for, I had a regular job, I would say. And my daughter got sick. She was just a few months old at the time, like probably like 8 months, 6 months, something like that. And she got sick. She got like a strain of the flu because I would have to like wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, take her to daycare, go to work, and then pick her up like at 6:30 or 7 in the evening. And just there she got a flu from one of the other kids. And so she was in the hospital for like 14 days. And like on the 12th day, my employer was basically agitated that I had not returned to work. So long story short, I actually quit my job in the hospital because I was like given an ultimatum, like come back or lose your job, and I wasn't going to leave her by any means. And then in the hospital, I was like, I can't even explain the moment. It was like probably 11 p.m. It was quiet. She was quiet laying in her crib. And like when they're in the hospital, it's like you see the little baby, but they have like an IV in their hand. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like a pretty sight. And then I was like, well, I want to be able to provide for her, do what I love, but like not have to leave her the whole day, 12 hours in a daycare. So my skill set has always kind of been like copywriting, marketing things, but specifically copywriting. And I knew from like afar, there were people that were making money online from the skill set. I just didn't know like how. And then so I got my laptop and I just started researching how. And before I left the hospital, it was like 3 days later, I had already like created my LinkedIn, and I had already like pitched people to write free blogs for them in exchange for a recommendation. And I already had like two recommendations before I left the hospital, because I was like, you know what? I'm just like, I I basically was like, this is it. Either I do it and I fail, and then I just have to return to a regular job,
Right.
or I do it and it works. And I gave myself a time limit. So I gave myself a month. I was like, if in a month I could see like some type of results of making money from copywriting, writing from home, then I will continue to pursue this. If in a month, like it's just like a complete failure, then I will go find just another job. And like on the fourth week, I actually retained a client, and the retainer check, the deposit was actually more than what my job would have paid me the whole month.
That's amazing. Definitely one of those like push you off a cliff and you're gonna see if
Oh yeah, when I got that
wow.
check, like I couldn't even control it. When I got that check, I just started crying. Like I was walking back to my car, you know what I mean? Like I had the meeting and the gentleman had just messaged me on LinkedIn. I wasn't even creating content. This is like July 2018.
Right.
And he just saw because I was local and I had like my profile optimized for writing, and he had an incredible entrepreneur story where he was basically almost extorted in China. Like he had warehouses there, manufacturing centers, whatever. An incredible story. So he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be back in the States. Um, so meet me and my wife. Like we'll talk about the options, whatever." And then I guess like I had a great meeting, so they agreed. And just like walking back to my car, I was like, I can do it. Like this is real. Like like when you see
Yeah.
a check that like you're doing what you love, but like it's more than you would have made the whole month clocking in somewhere and looking at the clock somewhere. That was like my point where I was like, I'm not like, it's no turning back.
Right. Do or die, now or never. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That always seems like your attitude. Just like jump right in and just take it. I love it.
Mhm. And I
Um,
think that's important. I think giving yourself a time limit is important, because I also see some people that like try entrepreneurship, but like they may like not be doing it like if you don't give yourself a time limit, it's almost like I created that pressure for myself. And also I had no other option because I didn't have savings or anything. So Like I literally told my mom, if this fails, like you're gonna have to like spot me for like a month so that I could like get a job again, you know? And she was like, okay, like, you know.
Right. But you bet on yourself and you won, and that's what's amazing. That is so amazing.
100%, you have to.
Growth Academy, which
Mhm.
is amazing, and there's so many of us involved in there and doing so many great things and growing our network. So I'm sure most people who are watching this are aware of Growth Academy, but if you are not, if you would fill us in a little bit about Growth Academy and like what's your vision for it? You know, where do you want to take it?
Yeah, I have a big vision for it, but it kind of like happened out of demand because the bigger I got on LinkedIn, especially like I would say from like when Corona, like probably like 6 to 8 weeks like prior to the coronavirus, I started getting messages like, hey, I really want to grow my LinkedIn following. I want to do it more like authentic, kind of your style. Like people were like, do you have a course? Do you have a program? Do you do coaching for this type of stuff? And I was like, the first couple of people, I was just like, oh, it's just like a coincidence. You know what I mean? But like then by the time the pandemic hit, I was getting like 25 messages a week of people asking the same question. And I was like I'm a person that like notices patterns. So I was like, okay, like people really need this. And they need it in a way where like they're going to be held accountable, because when I'm a person that also does research, when a lot of people buy these courses, they don't finish them. They just buy them, they don't finish them. And because like there's no system to hold them accountable throughout the process, they usually don't implement what they learn. So I spoke with Chris and I was like, we should do this. Like the need is there. People are like begging me for it at this point. You know what I mean? But I don't want to just have it be like another course. I want it to be far more than that. I want it to be an experience. I want it to be in a community. So that's why we have the live weekly trainings. That's why we have, the Slack community. That's why it's different. You know what I mean? And
Right.
the culture is just like to encourage one another to grow, to give each other feedback. And it's just the beginning. Like we're going to, yeah, I mean, probably before the end of the year, you guys will probably get between 3 to 4 more courses, just like access. So it'll be like basically whoever joins, like unlimited access. Like you'll have access to all the future courses that we put in there. And there's going to be a bunch, just, based on the demand, because people want to continue to learn and improve. And there's much more than just LinkedIn, right? Even how to sell your product or services on a call, after a discovery call, how to message people. The copywriting is another huge component where I heard a live interview, or like Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David, he interviewed like one of the top marketing guys, and this guy was just like, nobody can work for him unless they pass the writing test, because that's how important writing is. Like his company has like helped presidents get elected just through messaging. Like he was like, basically, if you are proficient at writing, like in the way that you should be in this day and age of storytelling, like you are deadly, because you could sway elections. You could like it's an extremely double-edged sword skill, where you could use it for good or you could use it for the opposite, but it's influence.
Right.
And that component is basically the foundation of it. You could use it on LinkedIn or wherever, but that's a skill set that, I mean, people make 8-9 figures just on that skill set alone. So
Right.
It's going to be so much more. And we're actually like, my vision for it is like in 12 months is going to be, and the fact that it's international. So we've already reached over 32 countries.
Wow. That's impressive.
In 2 languages, English and Spanish.
Amazing. Yeah, with Anna joining, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. And copywriting, no, I don't think you could be more right. It's like you can have something great to say, but if you don't know how to say it, like you're not going to get where you need to go. And it's so crucial to know how to like frame those things and how to get it in front of the right audience.
Right.
Which is why the course is so valuable.
Right.
So
And even prior to that, it's like empathy. So for me, it all begins like if you don't have empathy, you don't understand people. How can you write for them? How can you create for them? When like then the second level under empathy is really relatability. You can't create content that people relate to, that people are going to engage with, that's going to get consistently high engagement to drive attention to your brand and keep the attention over time and have it compound unless you're able to relate to them. So it's empathy, relatability, and then obviously the skill set of copywriting, the skill set of confidence and showing up on video, the skill set of consistency, that's discipline. So there's like a lot to do with just like, oh, go and, show up on LinkedIn. It's like, it's just one of the platforms that, a lot of these other skill sets come into play with.
right, right. And I think so much about it too is just like putting the fear aside and just being willing to put yourself out there, and just be your authentic self. Because I think that's the hurdle that a lot of people have an issue getting over when I speak to them, and why they're like against creating content is they're afraid of that judgment or whatever. But y'all just take Shaneé's advice, take my advice, get out there, start producing content. It's like the smartest thing you could ever do for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, tell them about your experience. Like you've grown in less than what? It's been like 6 weeks or 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Incredibly.
Yeah, I started about mid-August. So I started like I think about 2 weeks before the live courses
Yeah.
and I started consuming the video content and like optimizing my profile. And then by the time the live courses started, I was pretty much done with like the meat of the course, although I'm planning on going back and doing them again soon because I binged them in like 3 nights. And
yeah,
I was probably like really tired when I was doing it. So I'm sure there's some more golden nuggets of wisdom I could digest. So definitely going to go back and do that soon. But no, I started with about 700 connections mid-August, and I'm close to 9,000 almost today. And it's just amazing just the number of job seekers I've been able to help and people I've connected with. So can't stress it.
And people are your ultimate leverage. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, oh, why are you connecting with people outside your industry? It's like you don't know who someone knows. You don't know who someone can connect you to. You don't know who you can help just through like your inspirational messages. It's like a lot of people are just too short-sighted, in my opinion.
Right. And just even like your words, I've had some of the most inspiring messages just come through, not even people asking for my help, just letting me know like what you said to me, like really spoke to me today and made a difference. And it just makes me want to keep going that much more, knowing that it really is helping people. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, you're going to grow fast because the faster or the larger your network gets, the faster you grow.
Right.
So it's just like anything. It's like doing more, but you're also doing the work. You're doing the back end development. You're connecting with people strategically. You're showing up, and it is an investment in your time. But if you do it correctly, you'll get way more returns than you could have ever imagined.
For sure.
Especially now, where people need attention on their business to survive online.
Oh yeah, especially during COVID. But if you had like top 3, let's say someone hasn't seen Growth Academy, they're a newbie, like what would be your like top 3 networking tips or like the best things they can do to help themselves?
Let's say my first one is do more. So let's say you're connecting with 20 people a week, you should be connecting with 200. Like 10x your efforts, whatever it is. The second thing is like once you 10x your efforts consistently for a month, so it's showing up every single day, and like you don't have to be a genius to post content. So like the laziest person can post every day just by reposting other posts and giving people credit. So let's say you don't even want to create your own content. You could post one day Jennifer's post, but tag her in the post. Don't take it as your own. You could the next day do one of my posts, and like just pick a person that you see on your feed that you relate with their posts and then repost, because that's helping them get more exposure and you're getting a post. You literally have to do nothing. You just have to repost somebody's content. You could do that every day for 30 days. You could connect with 10 times more people. And then ultimately, it's like having 10 times more conversations. So if you're not doing any intro calls a week, you need to be doing at least 10 to 25. If you're doing 10, you should be doing like 3 times that, whatever you could fit in your schedule. And then obviously, I mean, selling is a skill set in and of itself, but the thing is numbers. The more people you interact with, the more potential and probability that you're gonna you know, be met with your next opportunity. That's just what it is. I see a lot of people complaining, but they're not putting in enough effort.
Right, right. So where do you
Unfortunately,
see?
that's the reality.
Right. No, I totally agree. If you're not gonna put in the time and like commit to something, then you're really definitely not gonna
And
see
you,
the results.
yeah, and when you put in effort, you have to like trim the fat as you go along. So like if I do this 10x of like these type of connection messages and they don't work, like I'm not gonna continue to do those, right? I'm gonna switch it up. And that's something about me, like you guys have experienced. We started on WhatsApp. I switched very quickly because
Right,
I got that feedback, especially from our tech guru Avarinth.
right. Thank you.
Arabic. And yeah, like he like sent me a whole synopsis of where we needed to go, but I did it. Like I for me it's all about serving who I need to serve. Like I'm not going to be like, no, we're going to stay on WhatsApp because it's more convenient for me or whatever. No, the experience is everything. So the same thing with whatever you're doing in social media. If you're not getting the engagement that you want, you need to. I ask my audience, like, why did you like this post? Like, tell me. And that's since the beginning. When I thought my videos were only doing well because of coincidence, I would literally show the video to a friend, ask 10 people online, be like, why did you like, to people that liked it, why did you like the video? The sound was terrible. The camera was terrible. Why did you like this video? They'll be like, oh, because what you're saying.
Right, the
You
message.
know? So I'm always looking for feedback. Even, I'll message you. What can I do to get better? Like, what's the weakness here? Because I'm always constantly trying to do better.
Right. And I think that's one of the best things about Growth Academy is just like the like constant like build in the sense that it really is a community and you guys do take in our feedback and the things we have to say and you can just feel that sort of growth. Like it's like electric within it. It's truly a special thing to be a part of.
Appreciate that.
So where do you see, like, how big do you see it growing? Like, you want to grow it as big as possible?
As big as possible. There is when you do the research, and also I'm talking to people in first world, second world, third world countries every day, and there's truly like a revolution that's happening when it comes to education. So here in the US, a lot of students now are paying $50,000 a year, but they're not getting the college experience because they're separated, for like social distancing and stuff.
Right.
And they're also realizing, like, from people, like you say, you'll experience it when you go to speak to them, that like the skills that they're being taught are not necessarily skills that they need to make actual money in the real world.
Right.
Having a degree in America is not what it used to be. Unfortunately, it's not going to guarantee you security. It's not going to guarantee you a good job. It's not going to guarantee you knowing the right people and connecting with the right people. It's just not. It used to be that when like my mom graduated, but
Right.
that's definitely, and they're getting more and more aware of that. That's here. And then in second and third world countries, like really only the affluent can go to university. So there's not really that many other options, especially when it comes to like getting skill sets that could help you build a business from your laptop. Which I obviously Corona accelerated all of this. So we really like I have big aspirations for this. This is more than just like, oh, LinkedIn course. Like we are going to expand this community to, I want to reach every single country really by Q1 of 2020. And I want to help education can change the world. And these skill sets are just not being taught in like traditional school systems or universities. And I think that they're the most important right now, especially as things are more important to get people's attention online. You have to get it, you have to keep it if you want to make money.
No, I completely agree. And it's definitely something that's not being taught enough in our schools and universities. Most of the questions I'd say that I get from people seeking my help are more so like, new to the job world, or, like new grads, and they teach them how to make a resume, but even
That's it.
they don't even teach them well. Like they teach them like the 1990s version of a resume, and then they
That's
come
the
to me and
problem. And
yeah, we need to get this into the modern world.
even with marketing, a lot of what they're being taught is already old because things change so quickly. So
Right.
like they could be being taught Facebook, but like look at TikTok, LinkedIn. Like they didn't even know what LinkedIn was. Like they were taught to just put a profile photo and like put their CV up. So that's why like my talk like you should have seen their face. They were like, what? And then like the messages after were like, you taught us like in 1 hour what we didn't learn in 3 years. And I was like, what? I mean, it's amazing to have a traditional education. It could open up a lot of doors, give you certain credibility. But if you don't have the skill sets that you need to even network within an organization, people skills, like it's going to be very difficult for you to like really get to like your potential, you know?
Right.
And look at everyone. People think having a job, a corporate job is security. Look at everyone that was furloughed and laid off in a second. And they didn't have a network to fall back on to get a job like this. Every single person that took networking seriously and had a network, even if they were working in a corporate job, they got a job far quicker than those who didn't. Because when you look at the data, the number one way to get a job is an internal referral.
Yeah. 100%. It's all
It's
about
who you know. It's all about who you
yes.
know.
That's why networking is so important, guys. One thing away
So
from this
job seekers,
conversation.
I'm
Network.
like, you're wasting all this time and energy, like going to overcrowded job boards when you could be investing that same amount of time and energy, creating content, getting people's attention, 100,000 views a month, building rapport for 3 months with the right people. Somebody's going to give you a referral. I promise you. Like you have a higher chance because an internal referral for new hires is like over 40 something percent.
Yeah. 100%. We definitely see a lot of referrals in my line of work, and that is definitely a lot of the
And
people
it
that get
makes sense
hired a
for
lot
the
of the time.
company, right? It makes sense for the company because usually, like, if you refer somebody, the company knows there's usually a certain caliber of candidate. Statistically, they're going to stay with the company longer. They're going to be a better fit for the culture. The hiring process is going to be shorter, so they're not going to spend that many resources and time hiring this candidate as they would a completely cold candidate. So, job seekers have to understand that companies incentivize their employees to give them referrals because it reduces costs for them too.
Right. It's like having little mini recruiters work for you and bring you
Exactly.
people.
And then like that capture people that kind of fit your culture. So it's like I don't get it. Like it's but you're a recruiter and I hope you change that.
Yes, yes. I'm all about networking. Let's push for that, y'all. Get out there. Well, Shaneé does have another meeting, so we're wrapping up here. But one last question, Shaneé. What would you
Yeah.
say your inspiration is? What drives you?
I guess the people that I help. So like I've seen, just like you get messages a lot. Like seeing transformations like yours, just reaching people and seeing them transform from like not networking to networking and just every single time it's the same thing. Their whole life will change in a short amount of time just because the opportunities that open up for them. So that's why I just want to keep spreading the word.
Amazing. Well, I will make sure to post the link. I cannot speak. The link to Growth Academy later today. If y'all want to join, it is an amazing community. Feel free to message me with more questions. Shaneé leads it. She's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being here and teaching us about networking. And yeah, this was great. I hope everyone has a fabulous day.
Yeah, and everyone follow Jennifer. I can see people that catch on very quickly and that are gonna be like big leaders on this platform in the next 6 months. And yeah, like I said, you could have a huge following, like 100,000 followers or more by March. Just keep being consistent.
As long as I'm helping the people.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters. So follow Jennifer, connect with her, and yeah, drop your link. It's your
Yeah,
live.
I will drop it too. Well, thank you
right,
so
guys.
much today. Y'all have a great day. Take care.
Bye.